Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal want to complete 7 signings this summer and 3 deals have already been done. Now, that leaves us with about 4 more deals to complete before the window closes, and Andre Bata and Mikel Arteta are working on it. We already have a clue on who Arsenal's next 3 signings are going to be, and I'm going to review them in this video. These players, for me, in my opinion, are 100% going to happen. The deals will happen, and Arsenal will have them by the beginning of the new campaign. But to do that, I want us to run into Arsenal's last links. We have been linked with about 20 players in the last 7 days. After the signing of Christian Nørgaard, the biggest question has been who is going to be Arsenal's next signing and who is going to be Arsenal's next big signing after Martin Zubimendi. Well, we're going to find out in this video. We're going to be running all through the rumors and trying to determine who has a bigger chance of signing for Arsenal, who has no chances at all, and which players are just a joke, although they have been linked with us this summer, especially in the last 7 days. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel as well. Let's get into it. Let's start off with Morgan Rogers at Aston Villa. Now, Morgan Rogers is a player that has very special qualities and abilities that Arsenal don't have in the squad right above. Now, in terms of carrying the ball and driving and, his ability in terms of creating chances and scoring goals from midfield, Arsenal need a little bit of that. Ever since last season, I've been crying out for one position. Number 10, a creative midfielder. And Morgan Rogers is a bit like a Santi Cazorla, but you can call him a hybrid of Santi Cazorla and Eden Hazard. He carries the ball. You literally cannot dispossess him. And when he gets in the penalty area, he knows what to do. He finishes like a striker and he dribbles like a midfielder. But the problem with Morgan Rogers, I would like him. I know Mikel Arteta would like him. And I think it's 100% true that Arsenal are really interested. But why I'm going to say this is very unlikely to happen is the price. Aston Villa are saying, well, if you want to sign Morgan Rogers, it is 85 to 100 million. I know Arsenal have money. I know Arsenal tried to sign a centre-back this summer for £50 million, but I don't think we have 85 million to spend on an English midfielder from Aston Villa called Morgan Rogers. This one is very, very unlikely. But under special circumstances, let's say if Arsenal were to sign a very cheap striker and maybe get a very cheap winger, and Mikel Arteta says, let's go for a midfielder who is expensive, this is a deal that could happen. But at the moment, this summer, it's very unlikely that Arsenal sign Morgan Rogers. But don't get me wrong, great player. Anthony Gordon on the left wing. Now, Anthony Gordon is a player, according to The Athletic, the BBC, Sami Makpo, and very reliable sources. He's a player that is high on the list of Arsenal's target list for left wingers. Arsenal want him. Arsenal consider him as a priority after Nico Williams, Rodrigo, and Eberechi Eze and the others, right? He's among the top 3 players that Arsenal are looking at that left wing position. In fact, without Rodrigo being a market opportunity, Anthony Gordon would have been the top 2 players that Arsenal look to sign at left wing. The problem with this one is the price and Newcastle's unwillingness to sell. And that could change as well, because if maybe Newcastle get Anthony Elanga, and maybe now they're not getting João Pedro, but if they get Anthony Elanga, would they be willing to sell Anthony Gordon? I don't know, because Newcastle really need reinforcements in attack, and they have made it very clear this summer they don't have to sell, they don't want to sell, they will not sell. Not Isak, not Gimaresh, not Tonali, not Anthony Gordon. But we are told the player would love to have a new challenge. We are told that the player fancies a move to Liverpool. Again, we are not Liverpool. So this is unlikely, very unlikely. Very expensive deal. Player really prefers a move to Liverpool, and Newcastle don't want to sell. Moving on to the next one. This is Mosquera. And with Christian Mosquera, 100% happening. 100% happening this summer. I mean, think about it. Arsenal have been a bit. Yes, it was rejected, but it wasn't far away from the money that Arsenal and Valencia have in their minds. This is you and your girlfriend trying to, decide on what to cook Although you know that your girlfriend is going to dictate on what you guys are actually going to eat. That is what Arsenal literally trying to do. We are trying to pay 14 million euros, 13 million euros, but we know that this deal is going to end at 20 to 25 million euros. In fact, if Arsenal had bid about 23 million euros, Valencia would be like, oh, you are serious, right? So this one is 100% happening. He should be Arsenal's for the signing of the summer. Personal terms are great. Everything has been given a green light. Player should be an Arsenal player before we get out of the first week of July. Christian Mosquera, 100% happening. And then Gerard Hato. Now, the problem with the Gerard Hato deal, it is genuine. Arsenal have genuine interest. And although the Mosquera deal is happening, the Gerard Hato deal also stays on. But why I'm not going to put him among the 100% happening is this. It depends on a lot of things, and Arsenal are getting a centre-back already. I think it will be the last of priorities for Arsenal to offload Zinchenko and Kivio, and therefore it will be the last of priorities for Arsenal to sign Gerard Hato. But if the price is right, Arsenal could get this deal done. If the price is right and we sell the necessary players, I can see Arsenal sign Gerard Hato for about 25 to 35 million euros, right? But if it goes above that, then it becomes highly unlikely. I mean, Arsenal are really satisfied. This is this situation is like you're talking to someone who's really eaten and they are satisfied, and you're like, would you want some chicken? But it is $100. Obviously, they're not going to buy chicken for $100. They're already satisfied. But if you tell them, would you like some chicken? It's $1, by the way. Who refuses chicken for $1 unless you are in the ICU, unless you are in the emergency room and you've just had an accident? Chicken for $1, everyone is taking that deal. So Gerard Hato, at the moment, highly unlikely. Benjamin Sesko. Well, Benjamin Sesko, 100% happening. This one is 100% happening. Arsenal and RB Leipzig are trying to play the chicken and the egg game. Who is going fast? Arsenal, go fast. Arsenal like, no. Leipzig, go fast. Arsenal, Leipzig, go fast. Leipzig, Arsenal, go fast. They're just trying to waste our time. But we know that Arsenal have full agreement with Benjamin Sesko. We know that Arsenal have worked on this deal so long, because for a deal that we've worked on for a very long time, it would have been easy for us to establish the impasse on the deal and walk away. But because Arsenal are not walking away, after doing a lot of hard work on this deal, we are not walking away. What it tells you is Arsenal know it is doable, right? Arsenal know it's doable. I've had talk from Bill.com that, Arsenal could go and sign Watkins. Arsenal could go and sign Ekitike. Go on and do those deals, right? Why are you just saying, Arsenal could go on? The reason as to why they're trying to say this is Arsenal are trying to create tension within RB Leipzig, but Leipzig are not budging. They're saying, well, we shall do the deal on our terms, and Arsenal are frustrated. But this one is 100% happening. Just be patient. It's just about the price. It will happen. Victor Gyökeres. Now, because the Benjamin Sesko deal is highly likely to happen, this one becomes highly likely to happen. Not to happen, or highly unlikely to happen. And the reason for me as to why this deal is highly unlikely to happen, the strong words of the president of Sporting must have broken the ribs of Andre Bata. He said he will not leave for 60 million euros. That is for sure. Like, do you hear me? He will not leave for 60 million euros. That is for sure. And for Arsenal, as a club that want to get a bargain on on Victor Gyökeres, what is that message signifying to you? It is signifying run, right? Walk away, run away. If you don't do that, you're just wasting your time. This one is becoming highly unlikely by the day. Rodrigo to Arsenal. And I'm going to disappoint people here. I'm really, really going to disappoint here because I know a friend that is a big Rodrigo fan. But it is going to take a lot of time, and Arsenal don't want to mess about this summer. Now, could we do a bit of compromise for a player like Rodrigo? Talented, would, massively improve us. Maybe we could do a bit of a compromise for a player like Rodrigo. But because I know Arsenal really want to get their summer business in order and in line and have no regrets and doubts, I doubt that is in line with waiting for a player like Rodrigo. Like, this thing's going to take time. It's going to drag on. We know Madrid, they're lousy and they're smart, right? They're going to try to press Arsenal into paying a higher fee. But we know these days Arsenal are smart as well. So this one for me, it's not highly unlikely, but I'm just going to put it in high likely. Unlikely, right? It is just unlikely. It is not highly unlikely. If the conditions that are blocking this deal are unblocked, it could advance and progress very, very quickly. Next up is Ebrich Eze. Highly likely to happen. Very highly likely to happen. And the reasons why for me the Eze deal is likely to happen, Mikel Arteta himself has been in negotiations with the team of this guy to bring him to Arsenal. I can mention to you the players that Mikel Arteta has phone called and told them, I need you here. Can I say them? Should I start? Partey, done deal. Zubimendi, done deal. Kai Havertz, done deal. Declan Rice, done deal. Should I go on? Need I go on? I don't. And the fact that Eze has got abilities that Mikel Arteta himself didn't have as a player, and the abilities that Mikel himself knows this Arsenal team is deficient of, I think this is a very serious deal. And it's now being reported by the higher caliber media. It started off with Jacob Benz, then it went into Team News and Ticks, then it was collaborated by a couple of Ramshackle journalists there, and today Fabrizio has said talks were held over the weekend for Ebrich Eze. If the big boys start jumping on a story, there is something there. There is a smoking gun. Okay? Now, after Ebrich Eze, we were also linked with Mohamed Kudus. And with Mohamed Kudus, I think it's the price that makes the deal very difficult. The likeness is there. Arsenal like the player. The interest is genuine. But the price, 85 million, if that drops, it would go to 65 million. I think Arsenal under Mikel Arteta might decide to sign Eze over Kudus. So this one is unlikely to happen. Like, I can see him move maybe to a Tottenham. I can even see him to go to like a Newcastle. But this one to Arsenal, I would say for now, unlikely. Honestly, I don't hope to disorganize your day, but unlikely. Hugo Ekitike. I'm sorry, Hugo Ekitike is a smokescreen, right? You know, a smokescreen is, you try to create a diversion and then on the other side, you're doing something else, right? Hugo Ekitike is a diversion. Arsenal are going to sign either Gyökeres or Sesko, and I think it is Sesko. When you look at that story from the build, they're saying, what are they saying? That Arsenal might move on to Ekitike. If Sesko and Gyökeres prices don't go down, Arsenal will move on to Ekitike. Like, are we fools? Are we idiots? Do you call us idiots? You've just said Arsenal want to spend less, right? And now we want to go to 100 million euro Ekitike. Highly unlikely, 0% of chance of happening. He might go to Liverpool. He might go to Chelsea. He's not going to Arsenal. Ekitike is not going to Arsenal, right? And then Kaoru Mitoma. With Kaoru Mitoma, I think what I would say with Mitoma is, I don't know why we are linked with him. I really don't know what we are linked with him. Because we want someone younger, the age profile of Gabriel Martinelli, he's above that, and he's declined massively, and injuries have affected his game massively. Highly unlikely, like 2 out of 10 chance, right? This might be like a last minute buy where Arsenal like, we have failed to get Rodrigo, we're not getting Eze, we're not getting Kudus, let's go for Mitoma. It can be like the Kudus, no, it can be like the Trossard deal that we did after missing out on Mykhailo Mudryk. Noni Madueke, Arsenal are really discussing this guy. But he's expensive, right? He's expensive, and I think Arsenal these days are quick to understand what is the real value of a certain player. Madueke to Arsenal, very, very unlikely. There's so many options that Arsenal can go for that are not Madueke, and things will be just fine. So, if Arsenal go for Madueke, I will be surprised. But it's been discussed internally. McGahey. Well, Arsenal now getting Christian Mosquera, but McGahey before Christian Mosquera was a solid option. And I think why Arsenal didn't go in for him is two reasons. One, the player is considering his position for the World Cup and he wants to be careful. So coming to a club like Arsenal where you're competing with Saliba might not be easy. At Liverpool, he might exchange a few times with Konate. And the second thing is the price. Arsenal are willing to spend about something in between 20 to 25 million euros for a new centre backup. And this guy is going to cost 45 to 50 million euros. My boy Paxiao at Feyenoord, highly unlikely. Just like highly, highly unlikely. But the conditions for this one are Arsenal missed out on everyone they're looking at for left wing and they end up with Paxiao, right? It's a low budget deal. It's a small money deal that Arsenal can afford to take a risk on. Garnacho, no chance, and I'm happy, no chance, right? Don't even dare. I don't want to talk about Garnacho. No chance. Rashford, no chance. Again, no chance for Rashford. Not the worst player in the world, but no chance. Jadon Sancho, no chance, no chance, no chance, no chance. 0 out of 10. Expensive, big wages, bad attitude. Need I go on? Anton Semenyo. There is a chance for Anton Semenyo. There is a chance actually for Anton Semenyo. And I think for Semenyo, it's about the price coming down. If the price comes down to about 50 million, Arsenal might be interested. But this 70 million that's being quoted around by Bournemouth at the moment, highly unlikely. Your boy, Nicholas Jackson, I want you to be the judge of that. I want you to be the judge of that, honestly. And then lastly, Brent Mbeumo. Mbeumo wants to play for Manchester United only. And the director of football, or sporting director at Bournemouth has been talking about Brent Mbeumo. And he has said, he has made it clear he wants to play for Manchester United, just Manchester United. So the three likely deals, Eze, Mosquera, and Benjamin Sesko.